try to hit me in the gut, thinking that I won't react. You whisper in my name, thinking I won't be the same. Turn fiction into fact. See what you didn't know, bruises that'll never show, slipping on your every jab. So tighten up your fist, step into the ring with this. I hope your mama's got your back. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, pulling the sound of my name in the crowd. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. Just 'cause I took a break, you're making a huge mistake, thinking you can take the throne. Look at you trembling, step into the lion's den. Bet you wish you stayed at home, begging for mercy underneath your breath when I ain't even sweating yet. My legend's written in the stone, yeah. Your crying nature in defeat is now your only friend. Even your mama's gotta know. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, pulling the sound of my name in the crowd. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 First round, fifth round, final round. Oh, yeah. First round, fifth round, final round. No, 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 no. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, holding the sound of my name in the crowd. You didn't bust. Oh, 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 oh. You didn't bust. Oh, oh, oh,
In Alexander Dumas's book, The Count of Monte Cristo, the main character, Edmond Dantes, is sitting on top of the world. He has friends, he's well respected, he is the first mate on a ship, he has a fiancée, the captain dies, and he is ostensibly going to be promoted to captain. A jealous shipmate decides that he wants to take that place and has him set up as being a member of Bonaparte's resistance. He works with Dantes's cousin, who is jealous of the woman that he is going to marry, wants her for himself. And when all of these shenanigans get to the court, the officer for the crown realizes that if he exposes any of this, he could get in trouble himself, his own father having secretly helped Napoleon Bonaparte. So he decides to simply have Edmond Dantes whisked away to the furthest prison possible. This was Château d'If on an island that was basically unpassable except by government, who could ferry people there and back. No lawyers, no ability to talk to or receive guests. Edmond Dantes shows up at Château d'If and says to the warden, "You have to believe me. I'm innocent." The warden takes one look at him and goes, "I know. Half the people here are innocent." Edmond Dantes says, "You're mocking me. I mean it. I'm innocent." Warden goes, "I know. You're here because you're innocent. I know you're innocent because if you were guilty, they'd have had a trial." My name is 𝐒𝐚𝐦𝐚𝐫. This is In Time. That was the introduction that we had planned, but for whatever reason went right through the intro here. It would not be technical. It would not be in time if there were not technical issues. We'll discuss the meaning of that in just a minute. I would like to thank the Recovering from Religion Foundation. They had me on starting at 7:30. It ran late. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I appreciated them having me on. Ooh, those lights. That is pretty bright. Maybe we can... and I'm not sure if 𝐒𝐨𝐮𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫 is going to make it or not. This was... it ain't much better, but it will have to do. Let's see. So, and 𝐒𝐨𝐮𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫 needs a 30-minute like reminder call, and because I have a life, I wasn't able to do it. We'll see if he comes in with the notifications. A lot's been going on. Let's talk about some of the things. What I'd like to do is have an In Time with myself, Commander, and 𝐒𝐨𝐮𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫. This was scheduled a bit late, and unfortunately, again, 𝐒𝐨𝐮𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫 didn't get his notice because I was on another program, and Commander was unable to make it. So we will do a program covering all of this. The biggest update that I think we need to talk about, and the one that is we've been worried about for some time as a stepping stone as to what we're seeing. Trump has ordered the military to take over I believe it's called the Roosevelt Zone, or the Roosevelt Memorial Zone. This is a strip of 60 feet that basically runs the entire border. Why does this strip exist? Well, it exists for the same reason sidewalks exist. The sidewalk is not owned by the House. Most municipalities have a rule that 3 feet in, or 3 yards in, I think it is, actually is owned by the town. So even on your own yard, 3 feet in is actually owned by the town off of the street. That allows them to build whatever they need to on it, and they don't have to fuss or muss with the homeowners. That's also, they can do building on the road, new sewage lines, whatever they want to, put in sidewalks. All of that is basically easement. It belongs to, I don't know whether it's the municipality or the state. In my state, it's the state. They own 3 yards in off of the street on every single property. For the same reasons, the federal government owns 60 feet in from the border wall, from the border with Mexico. This means if they want to build, presumably they can build at least some without having to worry about having to do any pesky takeage or seizure rights or deal with any of that. They've got this federal property that they can just do with as they choose. A lot of it has been used as easement, which is to say that other people have been using it. If you have to get, I think what's the biggest use is having people take cows to go over the Rio Grande onto the Mexican side, or they go over the Mexican side to drink water on the Rio Grande and then come back any number of times that people pass through this land. Trump has militarized it. He has declared an emergency and said that the military is to deploy across that 60-yard strip, in essence creating a 60-foot wide, 3,000-mile long military base. This is not a joke. Any incursion into that is now going on to military property, and the military can detain you in any ways that they see fit. One of the concerns about this is, and we've been getting increasing reports of talks of him invoking the Insurrection Act. Why is that important? 𝐒𝐨𝐿𝐼 Comitatus is the part of the Constitution that says Donald Trump cannot deploy police locally to do his bidding as law enforcement officers. That's very important. He cannot do that because as soon as he does, he's basically in a situation where he's got the military executing his will, the will of the executive branch. They're not supposed to do that locally. That's for police, FBI, any other congressional organizations. That is not the purview of the U.S. military, unless he invokes the Insurrection Act. With the previous demonstrations, we had thought it was possible. That's one reason the firebombing of, oh dear Lord, I've forgotten whose home. It was the governor of, I forget which state. I apologize. I've been streaming for 3 hours. So, but between that and, I don't have it on hand. Hopefully someone in the live chat remembers this state. They firebombed his home. And he's a Democrat, so Trump isn't going to do anything about that. That notwithstanding, the dealerships, the Tesla dealerships that are being attacked, if enough of them get attacked, he's going to say, oh, they're terrorists in the U.S. and we have to deal with them. Boom, Insurrection Act. We'll get to that because this unfortunately gets worse. But right now, he is deploying the military along that 60-foot strip. Our southern border is under attack from a variety of threats, he said in an executive order. The complexity of the current situation requires that our military take a more direct role in securing our southern border than in recent past. Now, let's see. The Roosevelt Reservation. Thank you. That was it. It's a 60-foot wide stretch of land from California to Arizona. Currently, the U.S. has deployed about 2,500 military along the border. Trump has now sent 10,000 military deployed along the border and now going to entrench in that. It literally is a military base now. They can, and he's given them authorization to build, to create bases, to create launching points for drones, whatever needs to be done. He's turned it into a military installation. Again, not kidding. Let's see. The White House is making the argument that invasion by immigrants and cartels, so again, invasion, this is important, is justifying these emergency powers and him using both the Alien Enemies Act, I forget, and being able to declare, I think he just declared the military could now use because it's federal land. The 60 feet is federal land. He declared that the military should use that to repel this invasion. They are considering using attack drones against the cartels and launching them from anywhere along this border. And later this month, the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security are to give recommendations to Trump on whether or not he should invoke the 1807 Insurrection Act, which would allow him to deploy additional troops in law enforcement actions across the country. We believe that he has actually already made the decision, and that within 7 days, now this is not wild speculation, but we don't have proof of this. But as of this moment, we believe within 7 days he is going to get a recommendation from the Department of Defense and from Homeland Security based on a leaked memo that we believe is likely accurate, that he will be getting recommendations from them saying that he should use the 1807 Insurrection Act. We believe he will do it by April 20th or April 21st. Before the end of April, almost certainly, we believe we're looking at April 20th or 21st. At that point, he will be able to use his troops against any invading enemy. Now, he's already declared the cartels invading enemies. But in an unrelated piece of news, he has met in the White House with the president of El Salvador and has, no Titan, I will not say his name. There are two important things from that meeting. The first is that he's not going to return the guy. I'll get to that in a second. The second is he has suggested that he would like to send more people to El Salvador prisons. El Salvador does not have sufficient prison space, so he has suggested building as many as 4 or 5 new prisons to handle Americans. Let me say that again. New prisons in El Salvador to handle Americans. Whether he intends to move currently incarcerated ones or ship new ones there, I don't know. But if he invokes the Insurrection Act, and then anyone who disagrees with him becomes an insurrectionist, he can now deport anyone who disagrees with him to El Salvador. El Salvador has agreed they will be willing to have as many American prisoners as Trump would like to send him. You thought for-profit prisons were bad. This is infinitely worse. If you're a lawyer trying to give your client their constitutionally protected right to have an attorney and to speak with that attorney, and if there are changes in the case and your client's in El Salvador, it makes it really hard. And to anyone who would suggest that there would be due process to anybody who goes over there, there hasn't been due process to anybody who's gone over there yet. The Supreme Court has asked him to, quote, facilitate returning 𝐒𝐚𝐦𝐚𝐫 Armando Abrigo Garcia. Now, facilitate, nobody knows what that means. Trump has said that if he's ordered by the U.S. Supreme Court, of course he'll do what the court says, which is BS. He's not going to do what the court says. But they have, instead of ordering him to, they've ordered him to facilitate the return. He and the president of El Salvador are simpatico. They are in lockstep with each other on this. Somebody asked, it was CNN's Katie Collins asked whether or not the president of El Salvador planned on returning Abrigo Garcia, and the president said that would be, quote, preposterous. Quote, I hope you're not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, he said. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? Of course I'm not going to do it. The question is preposterous. The man's not a terrorist. The man didn't do anything. This is why I started with the Count of Monte Cristo. Edmond Dantes sent to an island, the worst prison available, and even the warden knows he's innocent because otherwise he wouldn't have been sent there. Otherwise he'd have actually had a trial. The only reason to deny someone due process, really, is if you're afraid of what the result is going to be. The administration's already admitted that Garcia should not have been deported. Garcia was working with the courts and was here presently, legally, law-abiding, doing everything he was supposed to do. Boom, got picked up because he had a tattoo. That's it. He has a wife. I forget whether or not he's got children. I think he does. Apologies for not knowing that. He was just living his life here in the United States, got picked up and gone. And right now, nobody alive can find a tenable way to bring him back. The President of the U.S. says, no, we're not bringing him back. The President of El Salvador says, no, we're not bringing him back. You know for a fact. And they're each... So this is why Trump just went up to the guy and said, listen, just say you can't bring him back. And it doesn't matter to him what he says. So he says, oh, we can't bring him back. And then Trump says, yeah, you see, they can't bring him back. Of course they can bring him back. Trump is the ultimate bullshit artist. Of course, if Trump treated that guy like Harvard University and said, bring him back or I'm not giving you any more money, he'd be back. He'd be back. But we hold threats of defunding and threats of deportation only to our most honored and revered institutions, not to innocent people, or to the people who are keeping innocent people in prison. The fact that he says, look, he's a terrorist and I'm not returning him. Nobody said he's a terrorist. Nobody said that, except maybe Trump. That's it. There's no evidence. We know he's not. Doesn't matter. So Trump is ignoring the Supreme Court based on the word facilitate, which suggests to me that the Supreme Court is still very much not interested in really pushing Trump and has no idea what they're facing, because the reality is if they right now ordered him in unambiguous language to return Garcia, he wouldn't do it. The court has no idea what they're facing, or they know and realize that they've lost and can't do anything, or aren't bothering to try. If they had any idea that Trump isn't under any control by the judiciary like he's supposed to be, I would like to think that they'd do things other than request to facilitate, but maybe they don't want to draw, I don't know, maybe they don't want to draw attention to how impotent they are. I've got no idea. At any rate, the Supreme Court did not sign, but had a brief decision that let District Judge Paula Exinus's order requiring that he be returned, but drew a distinction between facilitating it and effectuating it. So, at this point, again, the only thing I can think of is Edmond Dantes. This guy was an ordinary guy. Really, it's the tattoo and the color of his skin. What happens when the color of the skin is no longer sufficient? That happens, well, all right. So Trump has also said, I think I covered this, but I'm going to hit it again. Trump has said that he is open to deporting, quote, homegrown criminals. If it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem, the president said while speaking with El Salvador's president, 𝐒𝐚𝐽 Bukele. Bukele, I think that's correct. Adding that Attorney General Bondi is studying the laws, quote, right now. If they're criminals and they hit people with baseball bats over their heads and happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape an 87-year-old woman on Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What do you think? There's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. All right. So what we're looking at now is he is going to deport any criminal that he wants to El Salvador. I don't think that's disputable. I think that's what he's saying here. He's making that pretty clear. Now, it sounds like he's just saying the ones that do really, really horrible things, like rape old women or hit them with baseball bats. But Garcia didn't do anything wrong. And that we can tell at least 30%, maybe 60%, maybe 100%. We don't know. I think they identified 2 actual gang members. I'm not sure, and they got them from previous prisons. But a significant number of those deported and sent to that prison didn't do anything wrong. He's threatening people who are protesting. If you make a pro-Palestinian protest, he's threatening them. He's threatening the universities. Harvard stood up to him today and said, no, we will not make the policy changes you have requested. Well fucking done, Harvard. For an institution that justifiably gets a lot of slack for the nepotism. Well fucking done, because they just lost $2.8 billion. $2.8 billion in federal funding. That actually sounds high, but if I recall, I double-checked that, and that number was correct. Probably better triple-check. I'm pretty sure that was it. It's no joke. All right. So, between that and the inevitable invocation of the Insurrection Act, he can use the military to snag anybody he wants to. Anybody from the January 6th committee, anybody from any news organization, anybody he wants to, deport them to El Salvador, and who's going to stop him? This begs the question, Garcia is just one guy. Why can't he bring him back? He can't bring him back because he becomes a living martyr. Because he comes out and he says, this is what happened to me. This is what the prison's like. He can tell what happened, and Trump cannot have that. Under no circumstances will they allow this man to come back. This man's only crime now is he knows too much. He's been through it. He's a symbol of it. If he comes back, he's going to have a megaphone, probably larger than Trump's, for at least a short period of time. Trump does not want that. This guy's going to be there a little while. And think of him right now. He has no idea that people are fighting to get him out. He has no idea what his family does or doesn't know, or what they've been told. He's Edmond Dantes. So, we're going to skip Iran for tonight. Iran is trying to acquire nukes. You've heard all that before. There's always something. Let's see. I do apologize. Oh, yes. Okay, so here's another example. So the FCC has been instructed to punish 60 Minutes for a report that they did on Greenland and Ukraine. They fact-checked what Trump was saying about both Greenland and Ukraine, and they disagreed with him. And they said that he wasn't being honest. The FCC is required to approve their merger, Paramount Global's merger with Skydance. Paramount Global owns CBS. So at this point, I'll read this here. Trump name-checked the man he promoted to the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, whom he called, quote, highly respected. He said, hopefully Carr will impose the maximum fines and punishment, which is substantial, for their unlawful and illegal behavior. It is noted that as of this moment, there is no evidence of any illegal behavior, defamation, or otherwise by CBS or 60 Minutes. There is nothing legally that Carr can do to punish the FCC because they've done nothing wrong. But having said that, we're going to see. The reason I bring this up is this is yet another example of Trump believing that all of the agencies at his disposal are there to protect him. They're not there to protect the people. They're not there to work for the executive branch or for the office of the president. They are there to protect Donald Trump. And he is instructing the FCC explicitly to punish CBS for calling him out on Greenland and Ukraine. Which, by the way, he has again said that the war is Zelensky's fault. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the live chat. Like I said, a little harried. I do apologize. I did. If I didn't, I wanted to thank the people from the Recovering from Religion Foundation. It was a long show. It was on education, how we define education, the importance of education. And since this is an educational program, and since I really can't keep my mouth shut, well, it was supposed to run 90 minutes anyway, but I do apologize to everyone for being late. Let's see. $20. Dunk on you. Sorry I can't stay. I have to go to bed. Keep up the great work, Nick and crew. Thank you very much. I think by the end of April, things are going to start to get noticeably worse. So we will be there, and we're going to keep doing what we do. And we couldn't if people did not become members, did not super chat, not do things like that. Money really, really helps. Another thing that helps, like and subscribe. All of us ask for that, not because we like coding that stuff, but it helps in the algorithm. Other thing that helps, the people who put the news in the Discord. You guys have been doing an amazing job. I check that Discord every single day. I check the breaking news 4 or 5 times a day, minimum. And we don't run it all, but I look at it all because that's how I know what the hell's going on. So that if somebody asks me, I don't sit there and say, I've never heard of this. Amazing job this community does. Thank you. So just like Dunk on You, thank you to the entire crew. Even Titan. UTV and Ham gifted 1 membership, and as a follower for 8 months. No idea it's been 8 months. Time does fly by. I had no idea it's been 8 months. Wow. Thank you so much for your continued support as a follower and for joining the crew. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. $10. Michael Esquerra. Is it odd that I can read the Spanish easier than the English? It's not, actually. It's a long story. Just saying hi and supporting the channel. $10 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Again, it really does help. And Sinister Porpoise, $5.12. Having read The Count of Monte Cristo, this is a hopeful take considering how thoroughly Edmond Dantes destroys his opponents in the book. Yeah, people give the book more credit than it probably deserves. It's a good book. The movie I liked. It's not, my memory of the book isn't really that it delves into revenge and, you know, the depths of revenge and, you know, the limits of and or this or that. It's an adventure story. That he wasn't trying to write a treatise on philosophy of or the morality of revenge. That's been sort of post hoc, you know, tossed in, like, you know, and in the movie he's like, no, when you know, it might cost him his own son to get the final revenge, he decides not to. It's like, you know, that wasn't a message that I recall It's been a while, but I don't think Dumas had that message. So, anyways, thank you. It's late, so a short show tonight. We are looking at, so the other interesting thing, we're trying to sort out, and we're going to be talking with Greg Terry. Greg Terry and I are working on doing a simul stream at least once a week. We have topics that obviously very much overlap with each other. He is very interested in the insider trading issue. I think he's also gotten very interested in, we were speaking on the military deployment. And so while those are not strictly speaking Ukraine, they are issues that we are interested in. And so we're talking to see where we can dovetail. The insider trading, it seems pretty clear. I mean, first of all, Trump announced now is a good time to buy stocks an hour and a half or 2 or 3 hours before lifting the putting a major pause on the tariffs on most of the other countries. So, is that insider trading? Wow. It's one of the dumbest situations I've ever had to deconstruct and try to figure out. I mean, you could say he was just saying that because, well, he's trying to pump up the market, and, people say that all the time. But people who have control over trade embargoes and tariffs don't say that very often. And he clearly knew, on the flip side, so anybody who profited off of this, even if they just took it as it's just a casual thing, probably engaged in insider trading. The problem is Marjorie Taylor Greene appears to have known ahead of time that the tariffs were going to be lifted and may have engaged in insider trading, and a number of other Washington officials. Right now, Congress is trying to get the FCC. Trading is covered by FTC. I think it's the FTC. Trying to get the FTC to look into it. But once again, Trump dominates the FTC. So, this is insane. Trump is reaching a point where everybody's going to follow his Twitter account because he may give you, the President of the United States may release on Twitter insider information that you can use to make thousands of dollars trading on Wall Street. I have nowhere else to go with this. I mean, oh dear Lord. Do we have a health plan, and what happens if I have an aneurysm? Because I feel one coming on. And everyone stopped pretending that, Trump's got no idea what he's doing. So let's see. Do we stream on the Discord? No, we do not. We don't. We would consider it under the right circumstances, but there are legit reasons not to. So for now, we don't. We used to. All right. I think that covers it. Thank you once again to all the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's the SEC. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. It's the SEC. Thank you, Porpoise. Securities and Exchange Commission, and they're not. And here's the problem, too. Keep in mind, as bad as it seems, it's worse, and it's worse because I want to take us back 2 years when the Supreme Court said that none of these agencies actually have the authority to create their own rules. So the SEC lost the authority to say insider trading is illegal. because that decision took all of the regulations made by those agencies and said, no, you're an agency. You're not empowered to make the regulation. The regulation must be made by Congress. And we discussed this ad nauseum last year. What's the SEC going to do? If they try to do anything, it'll be funded anyway. So, yeah. I described this on the, so what I'm going to, Trump has figured out something. And it's reasonably clever. Reasonably. Why he does this, I don't know. I think it's because he's too stupid to do anything else, and he just figured this out. Imagine you're not very good at business, but you realize that, any advantage you can take. So you go to your offices, your building, and you raise the temperature to 78 degrees. After a year, everybody is going to be used to it. Not going to bother them. Not going to like it, but it's not going to bother them either. But when you bring in somebody to negotiate, they're going to get hot, bothered, sweaty, uncomfortable. They're going to want to leave. They're going to want to cut the negotiations as short as possible. So you're actually going to have an edge in the negotiation. Trump has done this. He's done this with chaos. I don't think he likes chaos. I don't think he sees chaos and goes, yay! And I've met people like that. He's not one of them. But he's learned to be completely comfortable in chaos. He breathes a little better in chaos because he's actually learned the second part of this. But chaos, he's comfortable in it. He's perfectly comfortable in it. He's learned that, and he's learned to create chaos so everybody else around him is ill at ease. Nobody knows how to deal with him. And he doesn't care. Either way, doesn't matter. So the people who end up working well are the ones who can fit into that chaos. Take the Star Trek example. When, somebody comes up to him and says, "Oh, this is great. I love the 4 lights." No, there are 5 lights. Oh, yeah. I see 5 lights. Yeah, sure. Okay, there are 5 lights. Everybody's agreed there are 5 lights. It doesn't matter how many there are. Whatever Trump says is what the truth is. If Trump then says, yeah, it's, I put all 4 of those up there last week. Oh, yeah, so it's 4 lights? Yeah, 4 lights. Okay, perfect. Great. Anybody who is just as easy in that level of chaos, that's who he keeps around. That's the shibboleth. That's how he knows you belong. The truth is irrelevant. Anybody who cares about the truth is a danger to his regime and is someone who's going to cause trouble in his government. That's why they're all resigning or being forced out. I say he's an agent of chaos. And I think it's just because that line is stuck in my head from the Batman movies. But he's not the Joker who actually revels in chaos. He enjoys it. He watches it grow, as a character. That's not Trump. Trump doesn't enjoy chaos. I don't think he does. But he knows that when chaos is around, everybody else is being stymied. It's like everybody else's feet are in quicksand, and he's just walking on water. That's how he operates. And I think we're going to see even more chaos. And we did have a... All right, so let me check on one last thing before we go. Oh, and of course... All right, so the Arizona Republic, yeah, I did get that. Hold on. And of course, when I did, all right, sorry, I lost the scroll on the live feed. So I think we're still live. Goodbye, 14th Amendment, yeah. Ukraine a Yuki chick, thank you. I think you're the one who sent this, deporting a migrant who pushes wheelchairs. That's the Arizona Republic, but I am hitting a paywall. So what I will do is see if I can find other sources for that so that we can bring it up. But it sounds like what they're reporting is he was a migrant. And here's the other thing. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but this has to be said. And to some extent, I'm not going to be. People who we call undocumented workers have broken the law. They have. They came in illegally. And there are problems associated with that, including that there are people who are following the system and coming in legally, and now someone just broke the rules. Okay. We used to call them illegals. Everybody called them illegals. Now we don't call them illegals. There are good reasons for that as well. In part, it's because when you call them, quote, illegals, it becomes all about the crime, which, relatively speaking, is really fucking minor. If somebody came up to me and said, okay, you've got a choice. You can be robbed, murdered, raped, or somebody can cross the border illegally and do a job somewhere. Which would you prefer happen? I got to tell you, I'm going for the undocumented worker. And they are productive in this country. Did they break the law? Yeah. Is it worse than jaywalking? Yeah. But not by many degrees. You can't compare it to any other. And these people that he is planning on deporting and sending to a prison in El Salvador that commits human rights abuses, it would take a lot of work to get me on board with any plan that involved gently kicking them out of the country. A lot of work. I'm willing to have that debate, but I don't know. They're here. They're working. There are other solutions to this. These are people who otherwise have committed no crime. They haven't done anything violent, and they are being put in one of the most violent, practically genocidal. You think U.S. prisons are bad? They're worse than U.S. prisons. And Garcia fled there. The fact that he's back now, I'd honestly like to know if he's still alive. To the best of my knowledge, nobody's been able to confirm it. The very gang that he was accused of being in wants him dead. And there are members of that gang purportedly on the plane with him, certainly in that prison. What has he done? Anna sent this, again, it's the Arizona Republican, apologies, I can't read it, but it looks like deported a migrant who, with his wife and kids, had fled from the Taliban. So this is our country now. And the problem, well, there's a lot of problems, but again, it's not going to stop here. They're going to come for trans. After that, they're going to come for gays. After that, they're going to come for blacks. Sometime in there, they're going to come just for intellectuals in general of any stripe. And then finally, at the end, it will come for anyone who doesn't do whatever salute shows you're pro-Trump. That's where this goes. I wish I were guessing. All right, I'm going to double check just because, I got the live chat back, so we're good. Everything is good. I do apologize. for that. Thank you all very much for your support. And read raid. Yeah, let's set up a raid. That's a good idea. And if Reed is up, we will raid him. Let me see. I don't see Reed. Oh, yeah, I don't see Reed, so I can't. If he doesn't. Oh, he raided me. Believe me, add another couple hours, and I'm local. Thank you, Titan, for correcting. Thank you, Mark Reed, for rating us. Thank you all for joining from Mark Reed's channel. I like him a lot, and he and I have known each other actually for a very long time. So we don't get a chance to stream very often, but we've done a few. I even modded his debate with Mowdy, which nobody explained to me was a joke. So I'm doing a serious mod, and they're both saying the craziest stuff, and I'm sitting there going like, wait, no, you can't say it. No, that's not true. No, wait a minute. We're not gonna, you know what? In fact, actually, don't go looking for that. Yeah, no, Mark, don't. No, let's not. We're not going to drop that link, because that was afterwards. Oh, that was fun. I was like, yeah, why didn't we stay on top? Oh, nobody told you we were just clowning around. I was asked to mod a debate. You know, I used to do this quite regularly. All right. Yeah, I don't think Mark is on. I will make one more attempt to see if anyone is there. This rating feature, I know it was stolen from, but yeah, and Merc. So here's another thing we're looking to do. We may do another channel. The channel is going to be called Playtime. It is me and a co-host, 𝐒𝐚𝐦𝐚𝐽. 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐽 is currently unavailable, so I don't know when we'll do it with her. But Merc has invited me on a couple of times to co-stream, and we are not going to co-stream even to downtime gaming. We're not gonna do so. Thank you, Titan. Gaming, and we've actually been thinking of doing a lot of, even news guys do have gaming channels. I'm an avid gamer, and since I've been invited to game with Merc and County and a few others, I figured would maybe do playtime a little earlier. So I'm thinking we're going to do that. It's not as if I have on my plate already, but I'm going to send you over to Merc's. Somebody there, please say hi to him for me. Thank you all for joining us, and we will talk to you very soon, I'm sure. Have a good night, all. Oh, well, and of course, yeah, let's try that again. Have a good night.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.